and distinguished guests, a warm welcome to you all. Simon Sinek had once said, leadership is not about being in charge, it's about taking care of those in your charge. Today, we have the privilege of learning from a leader who truly embodies this principle, Dr. V S. Parthasarathy. His insights and experiences will undoubtedly inspire us to rethink leadership in a way that elevates not just our organizations but the people within them. So let's dive into this enriching session. May I now request Mr. Ashit Kampani, Chairman, Young Bombay Forum of Bombay Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Chairman, Cosmic Mandela 15 Securities Private Limited, to deliver the welcome address.
Thank you, Shruti. Welcoming all of you today. I am delighted to welcome to each one of you to this thought leadership session with Dr. V S. Parthasarathy. We always fondly call him Partha, so it's too difficult for me to speak out Dr. V S. Parthasarathy. So he's added a big doctor in front recently. He is a coach, mentor, and social entrepreneur. He has been working with various independent organizations or the listed company and so the large insurance company like a Life Insurance Corporation. On behalf of Bombay Chamber of Commerce and Industries Young Bombay Forum, we always have been committed to provide platforms for personal and professional growth. And it is our distinct privilege to have Dr. V S. Parthasarathy with us today to deliver a thought leadership session. I extend a very warm welcome to him. Young Bombay Forum came into existence on 172 years, foundation day of the Bombay Chamber in 2007. Over the years, YBF have organized a variety of leadership programs for its members, including leadership development program, social development program, sessions on art and science for persuasion, and a workshop featuring masterclass with Shri Adi Godrej, an interactive session and workplace spirituality, decoding leadership conclave, and shadow the leader program. YBF has conducted various leadership programs. We were privileged to host thought leaders session featuring distinguished speakers such as Sri Sudhir Kapadia, who is a senior advisor at Ernst & Young, Mr. Kabir Ahmed Shakir, who is currently a CFO at Tata Communication, Mr. Sunil Mathur is currently MD and CEO at Siemens Limited, Mr. Nilesh Shah, who is a group president and MD at Kotak Mahindra Asset Management Company, Dr. Hasit Joshipura is an advisor to chairman and managing director of the data center and cloud services business of the Larsen & Toubro Limited, Mr. Hitendra Dave, who is a current CEO of HSBC India, and Mr. R. Mukundan, who is the MD and CEO of Tata Chemical Limited recently. The Shadow the Leader program, YBF's flagship initiative, has gained significant recognition across corporate India. It offers young individuals the unique opportunity to spend time with the leader and who has we have successfully completed 6 series, now with the 7th series on the horizon. The Bombay Chamber is a premier chamber of the commerce and industry in Mumbai. It is the country's industrial, financial, commercial capital, established in 1836. It is the oldest chamber in the nation and has served trade and industry through 188 years of continuous service. Not only the chamber is known for its longevity but also the impeccable lineage. Chamber plays an important role in promoting the cities and the region's trade and commerce and the industry hub. I would like to express my gratitude to Young Bombay Forum members and Bombay Chamber's team for organizing the YBF event. Once again, I would extend my heartfelt thanks to each one of you for joining us today, and I am confident that we are all eagerly awaiting and anticipating to listen to Dr. V S. Parthasarathy. Sir, should I make your introduction? Okay.
Make it very
Yes,
short.
of course. A brief profile about Dr. V S Parthasarathy. Mr. Parthasarathy has over 37 years of rich experience, wherein he has successfully led business function, organization, and transformation over 125 mergers and acquisitions. He is on the board of the several listed and unlisted company. He is an independent director on Life Insurance Corporation of India, NIIT, MTS, and EduTech listed company. Pennar Industries, another listed company. He's on the board of companies on the path of being a unicorn. IPO like Cloud9 Hospital, Car Dekho, Green Cell Mobility, to mention a few. He is on the board of the governor of IIM Mumbai, earlier NITIE. He is also a coach and a mentor to startups. He started his career with Modi Xerox and rose to the position of associate director, serving across multiple positions and locations. In Mahindra Group, where he served more than 2 decades, his last role was president of mobility services sector. Prior to that, he was a group CFO and CIO for 7 years. Additionally, he has served as a member of the Mahindra Group executive board and has been on the board for several listed companies. He carries out several philanthropic activities for women's empowerment through education, employment, entrepreneurship initiative of Seva, and he is an independent director on the two of its company. He has received Lifetime Achievement Award for his CFO and CIO roles. He is also a Business World Yes Bank Hall of Fame Award, the Best CFO of India Award by IMA Corporate Excellence Award, Digital Icon of India Award by HPE, and CIO 100 Hall of Fame by CIO after winning the award for 4 consecutive years. He is a chartered accountant from ICAI India and ICAEW UK, and alumnus of Harvard Business School. He recently completed a PhD from Mumbai University, hence we address him as doctor. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Yeah, is the mic clear? Yeah. YouTube में देखेगा ना, उसको आएगा ना, आवाज आ रही है ना YouTube वालों को? ठीक है. So thank you very much. It's a pleasure and an honor to address all of you. And like Ashit mentioned, that why the Youth Bombay Forum has a very special place in my heart. And when I was the president, we did lot of the, including the shadow, the leader, and so on. So Ashit has been doing great work. So it's a pleasure to come and address you from this side. Most of the time till now I've been on the other side trying to get others to address. It is right, Ashit. When I was president, I was Mr. Yeah, but I said learning never ends, and therefore I must continue to do learning. So that's what we've been doing, and the PhD came as a part of it. It was a 4-year journey. It was nice to somebody who was from Mumbai University, and KJ Somaya was the place from where I did. And some lady just now wrote a couple of days back that you started 2 sessions later than us and you ended up faster than us as the doctor. I said there is a lot of doctoring along the way that happened. So and all the years of experience just come in good service. So here I am. What I said is what is put here. You can take lots of things that I say. Yeah, it may help you, but please only apply it with your discretion. Yeah, don't apply. One of the person who copied from me wrote PTO in the middle of the page. Okay, and then we don't want to end up doing that. Okay, so I'm going to kind of take some stories and talk about some of the leadership lessons that I learned, and hopefully you can take from there. And then I will sum it up by what I call, when Mahindra asked me, "Itne saal kaam kiya, kya sikha?" So I put it down in 5 mool mantras. So I'll tell you about the mool mantra that I thought I was leaving back for Mahindra. Yeah, that they can do both at the company level and at individual level. And the last one is I'll give you 15 mantras that I've learnt over the years. Yeah, over and above that. and after that we will engage in some conversation. I hope you keep your questions ready, because it will be very dull if only I am talking and then we end this session with that. Okay? Questions are not very easy to come by. Doubt arises from partial understanding, and I hope to clarify everything before that. But please do dialogue, comment, yeah? Not only at the end, but also you can butt in between. I would love that. Okay? So with that, let me start. Okay? In terms of this one, पर्दा थोड़ा आराम से खुलता है. Okay, so that's me. I'm coach, mentor, and social entrepreneurship, which is why I'm delighted to see so many ladies in the room. Yeah, because many times I walk into a room and it's full of men, and then I said, oh my God, what should we do to change this? Not that the change is required, a change check, but if we do get them into this room, all the 25 crore women who is today not doing that, then India's GDP must certainly go up by a huge large number. So not for personal reasons, not for just being fair, but just by saying Viksit Bharat, if you had to have, then women have to take the place. I'm delighted to see you all here. Yeah. Okay. With that, let me go on. The first one is Sala mein to saab ban gaya. So this is the first lesson I learnt in life. Young chartered accountant, thought I have arrived, passed with a rank, got called in by many things, and then Modi Xerox called me, MNC, and said, and I had done as a purchase services there, as a off roles consultant there. So then it was very happy to say, hey, I'm happy to come in and I'm working. So I put on a suit that was stitched in Bangkok, because those days it was very great to get a suit stitched in Bangkok. I couldn't go, but my friend who went there, I asked him to bring a suit. I got it, I went to office, I said, Sala mein to saab ban gaya. Now I know everything. Okay, so I reached there, and as luck would have it, very first week there was a thing which came from the headquarters. We have to increase our productivity by 25%. And say, please, Mr. Parthasarathy, as in charge of this branch, give us ideas of how will you increase your office productivity by 25%. And I called everybody, and then we all huddled around, and we couldn't think of much. We did think of something. Saturday ko kaam kar sakte hain kya? Can we extend office by 1-2 hours? But these are all, something which is not easy for everybody to palate. So, but we couldn't find anything. And there was this guy, Daigo D'Souza, or a peon, just going around, and his claim to fame was he could speak English in Ahmedabad. Yeah, so those days speaking in English was a great thing. Okay, and you got entry anywhere into Ahmedabad if you could speak English. Yeah, so it was that kind of period. So he could speak English. Yeah, because he was a Catholic, and and his second mother tongue was English. So he could end up speaking English. So he would, sir, I have some ideas. And then I was trying to be the Sahab, right? So, ठीक है. Okay? So just ठीक है, अभी मैं सुन लेता हूँ, बाद में सुनता हूँ. पहले हम लोग कर ले meeting. So, and we came out with nothing. So, for 2 days this happened. And then he again came back and knocked on my back and said, sir, मैं बताऊँ. And then he gave a set when I asked him to come and present to the entire team. Talk to the entire team and tell them. And he had this fabulous idea कि सर अब ऑफिस अंदर करते हो, सुबह सुबह ऑफिस बाहर करो. Meaning, I won't let you enter the office. I'll put some stools, big stools there. You come there. In 15 minutes, you get out of the office, because you come at 9. Till 9 to 10 you are sitting in office, and by 10:15 you leave the office. I'll have hot mugs of coffee ready to as you come at 9. You have to finish and leave by 9:15. So you added 1 hour to your productive work time just because you can't get into the office. Okay, because he has already analyzed that coming into office, sitting, chit-chatting, and by the time we warm up, it was 10:15. Okay, those days, remember, there were no computers, there were no cell phones. Yeah. So the next thing he said is, sir, when you go to the office, when you go to anybody, he is buying a copier, then you come back and prepare a quotation in the office, and then go back the next day to give it. Don't do that. From there call, okay. So this lady Vanitha who is there as a receptionist and we will fill the quotation and fax it back to you. And you can submit the quotation there and then you can walk out of it and probably sell faster and doing it, but at least your one trip is this one, and roughly 6 calls get made in a day. So he said if you make one less call or one more productive call, it's 1/6 productivity going up. So save 1 hour, save this, and then he had a series such things which he said. I am not going to tell you all that he said. I just gave you 2 examples how it was productive. I got to go, and actually that Bangkok, that suit that I stitched was somebody else's then. Next year I went to Singapore, Bangkok, and one more, I think Bali, as on behalf of the company, fully paid trip, because we got into what is called the Honors Club for achieving 30% productivity in a branch, and which was adopted across the Xerox global network. And all this is not because of me, but for a guy called Daigo D'Souza. So I learned this, that if you become Sala mein to saab ban gaya, so then you know that the whole thing is going to go spiral. You are being then limiting to yourself. But if you open your arms and says the input can come from anywhere, so then it will do. And most of the time our bosses become, our leaders become the limiting factor. If you want to expand that, then the leadership is not one of the IQ being starting and ending with the leader, but the IQ is the sum total of mentoring, reverse mentoring, and IQ across the organization level. Today our chess, both men and women, their Elo rating is higher than anybody in the world. It is because one, that it is not Vishwanathan Anand who has taught. It is a school which is teaching chess to people, and it's getting mentored inside out. And I think that's the first lesson that came in. Never be second best to anybody. And therefore the chess, I brought in that example to show they become first example. But very clearly you have to lead, not lead the team, but almost leadership from servant leadership, allowing the entire ecosystem to come and help you. Okay, and as they say in some movie, this sari kainat madad karne ke liye tayar hoti hai. You know, when you let, and then it has come. And then every time I have succeeded because there have been greater IQ people helping me do the job, greater athletes, greater sales people, greater marketing people, greater finance people, and greater manufacturing people who helped me get where I did. So I think one of the biggest leadership lesson if I have learned, allow yourself to become not the best in the room, but the best person who can gather others along with the troop. That's the first lesson that I learned. Okay. The next one lesson, and some of these lessons, honestly, leadership lessons don't come to you after you start doing job. They come to you as you're, when you are in school, when you are in before school, when you're, very young, when your parents teach you. And I think those are the leadership lessons which stay. And this was some experience that I had when I went to Jamnagar for the first time. I was from south, Chennai, and my dad was posted to Jamnagar. This is the first time we encountered Hindi in its own form. Till that time Jabalpur I had gone, but thankfully I studied in Chennai while my dad was in Jabalpur. So it was going up and down, never studying, but for the first time in Jamnagar we had to study. And then we went into the classroom, and everyone welcomed me with open arms, made me sit in the front like Ashit is sitting, and they all told me, in here in Jamnagar you have to address sir as Sala. And they all knew I didn't know a word of Hindi, so I was a good candidate for this. So, and I said sir, Sala, looks very familiar. So okay, fine. So the first question that the teacher asked, I put up my hand and he said, yes, Sala, Swallow is what came from my mouth first. And then as he was going to slap me, he suddenly realized that I didn't know Hindi. Yeah. So somewhere along the way the slap stopped. Thankfully I was not slapped. But he let it know he was very unhappy. And then I was made to stand outside the room, Murga Bano, and so on and so forth, right? All of you know the routine when you are a bad child in a school. But the broad thing that happened was this, the main thing which happened was this. While I stood up, and the teacher kept asking me, who put you up to this? And I wouldn't say that for life's sake, and I never realized what happened, why did I not say, okay? So it may be my fellow students did the prank, and I would have been well justified to say, in logon isne mere ko kaha, to say, and that guy would have got bigger punishment than I would have got. But I didn't. I kept quiet, I took the punishment on this. And believe you me, that got me two such very important lessons. I came first in the class in Hindi in that year. I became a poet, in the later part of the writing poems in Hindi. And the friendship that I earned because of that respect, they are friends with me even till today. If I have a problem, even today the Jamnagar friends I can write back to, and they will come in. Some of them, one of them is a major general. Okay, so that kind of stays for a very, very long time. So I just said that your experiences in life are important, and sometimes they will come and hit you. You will become the Sala. But how do you respond to it is very important. How do you see? How do you action at that point of time is very important. And I think even those negative gave me so much more today in my life that this became a very large single experience which happened probably for all of 15 minutes. And that has remained for 50 years with me since then. So it's a very important thing for us to kind of say that you will have this experience. Leadership is not about getting throttled by it, but learning from that, and also using that to become better in life, and to take lessons from that and say kaise hoga. So many times I go and people will say tum Bengali ho, tum Bihar ke ho, so but they never say aap South ke, क्योंकि मेरे हिंदी में कभी आपको ये लहजा नहीं आएगा कि आप कहें कि मैं साउथ इंडियन हूँ. Okay, so this is what happened as an output of this. So I could really talk like a North Indian, if you were to say. Okay, so and then this became that. ये दोस्ती हम नहीं छोड़ेंगे. So and चाहे जितना पूछो हम आपका नाम नहीं बताएंगे. Okay. So the third thing that I just wanted to kind of tell you is that broadly whenever it happens, whenever leadership is not just about reaction. Leadership is also not only about action. It's about creation. And what is creation is that you with your team first create a mental creation, and then you physically go to create that. The mental creation sometimes takes the form of mission, vision, it takes the form of purpose, but it brings everybody together. And therefore, if you ever think of designing your destiny, first think of the mental creation and then the physical creation that you can do. Okay, so this is about the mental creation that I wanted. And again I go back to my Ahmedabad. So I started my career in Ahmedabad after a chartered accountant, and here I was after the 25-30% productivity was got done. So we had one thing in our thing called Grand Slam. If in every quarter, 4 quarters, you come first, then you become like Grand Slammer. So 4 thing, and you are sent on a Grand Slam trip. So okay, so called honors club, etc. So and then they had given this target to us which said you have to collect. What you have to collect? Opening debt, whatever is the opening outstanding, collect 65% of it. Whatever is the current month billing, collect 95%, whatever is the opening balance, collect 95% of it, and whatever is the current month billing, collect 65% of it, and therefore what you get is a target. That's the target, and you achieve it. And the standard till I joined the company was the highest was about 85%. Fair, right? So opening balance you cannot collect 95% because many of them are not are tougher debts which are there. And then there is a current billing. Some of that happens towards the month end, and it cannot collectible at all. You have not even submitted the invoice. So 65% is a fair target. So I went and I sat with my team. I said, why don't we put this head on this? What if we achieve more than 100%? So he has said, how can it be done? I said, see, it is 95%, it's not 100% of opening balance. Second is, it is 65% of current billing. So we got 35% cushion and 5% here. If I were to somehow make the opening balance very low and the current billing very high, this 5% may not come, but it will be a very small figure. And if I could achieve 35%, may say even 20% more, I can overachieve that 100%. I can be more than the target, 101, 102, 100 and whatever, something more than 100. And within that next 12 months of that first year, we started, and it became almost like a junoon in the office. How do we reduce opening debt? In fact, there was people who are calling, we used to call and say, आपके 5 दिन, आपके 4 दिन, हमारे branch को 4 चांद लगाई. This was our slogan, and this was developed by this. And we went to customer and said, you don't delay by 5 days if you pay. We also said, how can I reach all the bills that I have to raise by 20th of the month? So before 15th if possible, but at least by 20th of the month raise every bill that you have to possibly raise in the month. So therefore, and by doing all these actions, that year we ended up by 109% was my achievement as a start. So it was a branch which achieved 109. I think it still is in the history of Xerox, it's still the highest ever achieved. There have been some cases where they've achieved just over 100%, but that 109 have never been surpassed. And therefore, if you create mental creation first, and then do the physical creation, and just think of something new, something bigger, something better. Don't think of just saying 85% or 87 kar sakta hu kya. If I can think of saying I can be higher than 100%. So then the paradigm shifts. And I don't think only our office worked on it. Our customers worked on it. In fact, at the end of the year, आपको मिला कि नहीं मिला, आपके branch को मिला कि नहीं first prize? Because they were part of that journey. We explained to them, say why it's important. And he said, oh, no, after all, it's a meter reading or a bill for how much copies you made in a month, right? So it's not very high amount. But the whole idea was if you turn that cycle, and the ROC of that branch was 100%. ROC of this, if it was a small company, then it would have been 100% ROC. So that's what we kind of did it, okay. So this gives me the background of always aiming high, okay. So it so happened that I was in Mahindra now. I joined Mahindra as a head of transformation. How do I make an Indian MNC, the global MNC? Not only do I do that, आपको भी एक बार आके मेरे साथ यहाँ बोलना चाहिए, हाँ? बट मैं बुलाता हूँ अभी आपको. ओ महाराज उठा रहा है. Okay, good. I think this is what. So this is the exact point, in a sense. That's what was that. So I was in Mahindra looking after transformation, and I also made strategy. Okay, I also kind of looked at strategy from tractor side because there were nobody looking at strategy. So I did strategy, and I said, in export market, we want to be world number 1. We are number 1 in India. But we are not doing very well in global market because we are not doing the right strategy. We are not going where we should go, and we are going where we should not go. Okay? And the case in point I made is you are going to Europe. Europe as tractors are 120 horsepower, we make 40 horsepower tractors. How will we be able to compete in a product segment which we don't know anything about. That was my argument. Okay, and Anand Mahindra liked the concept. He said, I can understand whatever you are saying, and therefore I want a CEO to head international business. So I went and quickly got hold of a CEO and told Anand Mahindra, please interview me. He interviewed. And then he called me over and he said, Partha, I like that person whom you said, and yeah, it's very good. But if I were to give this basic job, then I would give it to you while I give it to him. I said, what, give it to me, what does it mean? He says, go and do it. He said, I'm a CFO, yeah, I do HR thing, fine, but being a CEO for all business outside India, how do I do this? So I said, don't worry, you will be able to do it. I have full confidence. And most importantly, you are committed to this strategy. You are committed to this. So you will do a better job. If I get somebody from outside, he may be a very good guy, but he will not necessarily have the passion for this. So please do this. And I have all confidence that you will do a better job than anybody else. So with his blessing, I came. And then the first thing I came, what I was fearing came true. The first question, international operations, I called a team meeting and then said, Sir, आपको sales में क्या आता है? What do you know about sales? I said, I know zero. I can tell you very clearly, honestly I can tell you, I don't know anything about sales. Yeah? Okay. So then the next question is, आप international market के बारे में क्या जानते हो? मैं said, मैं zero जानता. So those guys said कि सर हमको at last एक लीडर मिला, अभी तक तो कोई मिला ही नहीं था, अभी मिला तो भी वो ना मार्केट जानता है, ना प्रोडक्ट जानता है, ना फंक्शन जानता है और सीईओ बनने चला. Okay, so I talked to them then. I went back, thought through it the whole night. Next day I called them and I said, listen, there is one advantage. मैं 500 तो नहीं बेचूंगा. And what are these 500? That was what they were selling tractors outside India. Okay, to be honest, that 500 tractor probably was $30,000 or $40,000 a piece. So it was 150 crores including spare parts. So not something to be frowned on, but nothing substantial. Yeah, we used to sell about 1 lakh tractors in India. So 500 was a pittance. Okay, but so मैं 500 तो नहीं बेचूंगा. तो उन लोगों ने कहा कि सर क्या करेंगे? हम लोग 50,000 बेचते. पागल हो गए क्या? 50,000 कैसे बेचेंगे? 500 तो बेच नहीं पा रहे हैं आजकल और 50 कैसे बेचोगे? सो एंड आई वेरी सिंपली टुक आउट कि आज के तारीख में हम यूएस में गए, यूएस में 10,000 बेचेंगे, चाइना में 30,000 बेचेंगे, 40,000 और रेस्ट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड में 10,000 बेचेंगे. तो कहा कैसे बेच सकते हो? आप चाइना में तो है ही नहीं. तो बोले यही तो फायदा है, हम अभी आई नहीं तो स्टार्ट करते हैं, कंपनी अक्वायर करेंगे. बट लेट्स स्टार्ट. And then the frenzy started. Suddenly they all realized that it was a white canvas, they can all paint. And he said, sir, मैं अगर अफ्रीका में ये करेंगे तो 5,000 वहाँ से मिलेगा. कोई बोलता है मैं अगर चाइना में सर कंपनी में है तो let's go take a team. We have to acquire one company. We can easily. China is also like India market. We can do. And US वाला जो है, we had sent a guy called Derek Johannesi. He landed there. He said, Partha, 10,000 I'll do. Come hell or high water. Give me 3 years. Yeah, so we'll go from here to there. So suddenly here is a team which is starting. Now nobody is telling me you don't know how to sell. Nobody is telling me you don't know about the product. And I actually did that. I said we don't know about the product. So the entire international operations were closed for a period of 20 days. We went to a field in Maharashtra, which is a 20 acres field. We got all the international tractors and we actually drove them. We planted. Yeah, we harvested some part of it, and we did all that operations so that we knew what we are talking about, what product we are doing. So we did all that stuff. But it's a fact that instead of the 5 year which I said I'll do 50,000, 10x in 5 years, after 4 years when Anand Mahindra called me and said come and become a group CFO, we had achieved 50,000. Okay, in a platter of 4 years flat. I have a very nice quote which says, आंखों में नमी और तालियों में कमी कभी नहीं होनी चाहिए. अगर बजा भी रहे तो जोर से हो जाए. Thank you. And I think if I for a moment thought I did this, it would have been, nothing would have been farther from the truth. But we can fire people with imagination. And I think we often, leaders become the gate. We close the gate. We say, ye hi hai tumhara daira. And therefore, people can only perform within that daira. We keep saying, tractor globe ko nahi utha sakta. But as they say that bumblebee cannot fly, right? If a scientist were to tell, bumblebee can never fly. Yeah, because what will the breadth of its body is bigger than the tail span. So it cannot fly. But the fact is bumblebee flies. And that I think is about leadership. Making bumblebees fly. Yeah. It's not easy, but it is not up to you to make them fly. You liberate them and they fly. Okay. So that's what I said. Raise your ambition beyond imagination. You can achieve therefore what seems not possible to achieve. Okay. The other big thing about leadership that I found over a period of time is to recognize that we will have people who don't agree with you. We will have people who will be not part of your team. It doesn't like, like I said, आपको sales भी नहीं आता, आपको product भी पता नहीं है ठीक से. So and they will say this. So basically, the key thing is not to say that I don't want skeptics in my team, and I will define that skeptics. So people who doubt you, but has the best intention at heart. It is not they are doubting you to pull down the company, to pull you down. It's not with any negative, malicious intent. It is that they are genuinely feeling this is a problem. And what happens is, they are the most important people in your life. They are, for leaders, they are the most important people. Why? It's not that guys who anyway are sold on you are not important. They are very important. But a skeptic first tests you. They put you into the steel into the fire, right, or the gold into the fire, and then they also put the hammer on it. When you come out, you are hardened mentally in their eyes, and then you can you come out with flying colors, not in your eyes but in the entire team's out. And who does that is your skeptic. So keep the skeptics very close to you, listen to them, don't put them down, and address their concerns. Sometimes by proving what you are saying is right, sometimes by listening to him and changing your views even, sometimes by showing vulnerability, and then you can do whatever you can do by getting inputs from them. So when you use all this, that's why people say that leadership is about Sam, Dham, Dand, Ved. But we think of it as a way of physical sticks. They are a matter of how you kind of see mentally what people can do, and it is about vulnerability. Sam Dham Dand Ved mein vulnerability kahan aata hai? But if you were to think through mentally, you will find it comes in that kind of aspect. However, equally important is not to just kind of stay here. Skeptics are fine, but what if it is a cynic? And if you have a cynic, he will never get convinced with you, or he or she will never get convinced. Why only blame the one gender? And they will be the end of you. So when you find a cynic, then you have to say, you and the company don't meet, and therefore let's agree that we'll part ways. I've never fired anybody, never, except when I find a cynic. Otherwise, I always said there is no bad subordinate, only a bad boss, and I'll come to that in terms of some examples later. But if you find a cynic, and how do you differentiate between them? I think that's what leadership is about. That's what the Sam Dham Dand Ved about. And there are no right answers that I can tell you. If you find this clue, he's a cynic. If he's not, then it's a skeptic. But the way I say that, as long as criticism is well meaning, and the criticism is about an idea, not a person. He is a skeptic. When the criticism is about a person and not about the idea. Okay? For example, if the criticism is about a cook, however good the food he may make, then you will never like it. So if I don't like the cook, I will not like his cooking. Okay? So therefore it is important that we kind of differentiate, see this paradigm, and if you see and put them as a cynic, then please part ways. Either you or they. One of them have to go, and more often than not, you are not doing yourself a service, you are doing a company a great service, because that will very importantly move the company forward. These Dimak they are like Dimak, they will eat the entire wall, entire house that you put in. Okay? So this is on this front. All right. Now let me kind of say. So part of the thing is that when it seems that happening, Manthan, you know Manthan, right? This is about, the Devas and Asuras came together and say, we have to get nectar, but because if you don't get the nectar, we will not survive, and we will all die. And therefore they came together and got the nectar. When that was being churned, that's a story I will tell you another time. First what came out was the vish or the poison. And that poison, if it was not drunk, all the Asuras and Devas will die. And then there will be no Amrit, there will be no nectar to have. So when this is being thought about, at that point of time Shivji came and took the whole poison and drank it. And they say because of that his throat always has a blue thing, and that's why he's called the Neelkant. Yeah? So the one with this. But do you know in organization also there are Neelkants. They are the people who drink the poison so that this organization below them survive and thrive. Those are your great leaders. Any great leader you name, and then you will say, ye Neelkant, and you can almost give a Neelkant episode on him. And I can ask each one of you today, who is your best leader, tell me about him, you will tell me a Neelkant story about him, how he was the Neelkant. And therefore, if you ever want to be a good, be about Neelkant. Okay? And I have seen this happen. I asked somebody, ye kisne galti ki? And then there will be somebody will say, sir, isne galti, mere subordinate ne galti ki, iske karan hi ho gaya. At the same question I will call another department and say, kisne galti ki? And he will say, humse galti ho gayi. Yeah? We will correct it immediately, and it happened in my watch. So I am the one who made the mistake. So please give me time, I will fix it and I will make it better. And I think the second one who gives me this answer, I always say, ye bahut dur tak jayega. Okay? So, and I think that's the leadership lesson. Is it that therefore we have to take blame on ourselves? Is it a blame taking game that whenever it turns? No, it is about saying, how do I say I have your back when I am a leader? When I am a leader, I tell my people, we all tell our followers, I have your back. Go. To सूली पे चढ़ जाओ, हम तुम्हारे पीछे. How do you preach that I've got your back? If the first turn of events, you say इसने गलती की. It is not to say that you will not call him into her or him into the room and give you a peace of mind. It is not that you will not work with him to rectify him or her to rectify, but it is certainly not to throw him to the wolves, throw him to the dogs, right? This is the fundamental difference that good leaders have. They are not going to tolerate low performance, but they will not throw you to the dogs. And that not throwing to the dogs is the Nilkant that you want to talk about. Okay? So, the other thing, and this is one of the learnings in my life which will stand out, that I joined Mahindra from Xerox. So, I was doing very well in Xerox, and then the president of Mahindra flew all the way to Delhi where I was based, and he said, how would you like to come and be the transformation leader to take an Indian company become world number 1. Okay? I was working in an MNC, but the moment he gave this purpose that I want to make an Indian company a global leader and world number 1, it's something fired up within me, right? So it's that. So I came and joined. Okay? So as the Thakur had taken probably, Thakur of Sholay, who took over, the villages, guarding the village, or saving the village or whatever. So it came in, and then I started doing the transformation role. Okay, ना मैं उधर भी कुछ नहीं जानता था transformation के बारे में. I was a finance guy. What did I know about transformation? But we did a great job of it. But as I started, I had one question, that I wanted people from each of the departments. So we had 27 PUs. So I got one representative from each team. The condition was they have to be transferred into my team. So my team became from one man, which is me, to 28, and each PU, or as it was called, performance unit, or SBU, got 1% less, they got reduced. So who do you think they will send you? Yeah, just yeah. Yeah. So whatever is, surplus named, right? So I've studied their charts which came in, that what is the last year, must improve, okay, must improve, okay. So this is what is the rated alternatively, because if it is must improve 2 years in a running, they will get sacked, right? So that must improve, and next year okay, and third year must improve, fourth year okay. So I got all of them and then got them to a room, and then we said, so no, by this time, so the queries, we got this 28 people, we built a good grand 5th floor Kandivali, a special place admin building, all this 28 are sitting, and then we go out for lunch together. And then I hear this, Thakur ne fauj banai hai. So this is what he is going to head this team, and he is going to conquer to become world winner, Vishwajit. So we had named the program Vishwajit. Well, Vishwajit banane ke liye fauj banai hai isne. So it was great, and I for a minute I was so taken by that slogan. And there is some adjective in between which I am not using, yeah, okay. So Thakur ne fauj banai hai, I am stopping. But if you ever, some of the youngsters, if you ever see Sholay again, you will realize what I was saying, okay. So we heard all this, and I was I said, how am I going to do this? What am I going to do? So we got, all of us, 28 of us got into a room, and I told him, I don't know about yesterday, but I know about tomorrow. Mahindra will become world number 1. Yeah? And this team is the team which will help in terms of transformation. These are two things that I know. I am not asking about your ratings of yesterday, but this is God given chance once when people don't say you are good for nothing. I am telling you, you are world beaters. You are my gang. And all I can tell you is that I will give you support like kingdom come. And I said, trust me. And then some guy, after I had gone, later it was reported, he said, sir, abhi bologe 5वें माल से कूदना है तो कूद देंगे. So I didn't know that I had that level of trust already established, because I have accepted these people, right? By doing that, I have also told them that I am doing it. So these 27 people, 3 of them are CEOs of companies today. I won't name them, yeah, but they are CEOs of companies today. 4 of them, one is an R&D chief, yeah, 2 of them are admin heads, and about 4 or 5 are in other companies where they keep writing to me how these things are done. Okay, so again, aankhon mein nami. no, over and above, it keeps you involved. Yeah. And more importantly, I know this is साथ में थोड़ा बहुत नींद आती होती है वो भी. Thank you for initiating that. Okay. So this is what happened. So I keep saying, keep the thorns to yourself. Show trust. Okay. And this is how zeros became heroes in that sense. But if you saw many of the stories you said, we were all ordinary people. But because we set purpose which were extraordinary, and because the trust, and because we said we're going to challenge conventional wisdom, we always achieved more than whatever we could think traditionally could be achieved. Okay, we achieved not only world number one, we achieved Deming Prize. Deming Prize is given by Japan, and this is given to the best companies. It is not, Deming is not like an Oscar, it's like a Nobel Prize. Yeah, there's a world lifetime achievement kind of thing. So we got the Deming Prize, we got the Japan Quality Medal, we got 100% ROCE again in farm equipment. As a big company, as a 20,000, 40,000 crore kind of turnover company, it's still 100% after 18 years. Our ROC has not come below 100%. Yeah. So, and this is the kind of legacy, even when I sit outside and when they declare the results of farm equipment sector and this happens, and I said, oh, I had a role to play in that. Yeah. So another thing, it's a huge amount of satisfaction which is there. So one of the other things that I learnt is that often we achieve performance, we look at and say, what is wrong? Our subordinates are wrong. One of the key things that I found that there is never a terrible subordinate, only a terrible boss. As a leader, whenever we give up on people, remember that the 5 fingers may say 4 point to you. So what have you done about it? When you are a subordinate, remember that whenever that happens, what different will you do when you become a boss? And when you are a boss, then think of what you can change. Because हमको सब मिलेंगे तरीके के लोग, गधे, घोड़े, या ऊंट, या eagle, tiger, like everything we'll get. Because this is a jungle that we are in. The key thing is, do even the smallest one. Ram could use squirrel to cross Lanka. So do we, even if we get a squirrel, can we not cross our small Lanka that we are doing? Is it such a big deal? And when you trust them, anybody uses 4% of their brain. If I fire somebody with purpose, can they work a little bit harder and use 6% of the brain and achieve the same result? I have always found it to be true. Then mathematically nothing I can prove. But I can show my results and say, here is QED. It's always proven that you have such a kind of thing. Okay, and this is a very interesting reason why I put this. And it was said both about how boss is a Neelkant and this. This happened with Dr. Abdul Kalam. His boss was some gentleman called Satish something. Do you remember what his name was? Satish Dhawan. Yeah, Satish Dhawan. So he was the boss, and the first rocket that Abdul Kalam fired was a dud. It just didn't take off. There was huge uproar. India was a laughing stock in the world. And then Abdul Kalam was with a heavy heart wanting to go to the press meet. So Satish said, no, I'll take it. I'll take it. Okay? And he said, don't worry, the next one will go to moon. Okay? Work on it. So, and he took the rack that day. He took the wrap that day. He took the millstone that day. And the next time, when it was a great success and the whole world was lauding, single slingshot, we say 200 million, we did something which 20 billion it takes for others. He went to Satish and said, sir, speaker notes. He said, you go and face the press. You earned it. And I think he gives that as an example of an excellent boss. And I think for us there is a lesson in it. For all the leaders, there's a huge lesson in it. Okay. And this is very interesting story that happened with me. It was probably 1991. Was that the year Rajiv Gandhi was assassinated? Yeah, 91. Yeah, so probably not. Yeah, so yeah. So I was in Delhi. I was not in Delhi. I was actually in Calcutta. Came to Delhi, and we had all to reach Goa for something. And I landed up in Bombay. And we landed up, and that Shiv Sena had called a band in Bombay. So there was no thing, बोलते ना in Calcutta में CPM और यहाँ शिवसेना बुलाए तो पत्ता भी नहीं हिलता. Yeah, that's what correct. So and I've tried to do something in Calcutta when there was Bandh, and I know how difficult it is. So it was nothing would move. So I couldn't reach Goa. I can't reach the airport. If I can't reach the airport, how will I reach Goa? So I sat in the hotel 5, 6, 7 o'clock. I somehow said, now I have to leave and reach the airport, because the airport was working normally. Okay, so I somehow picked up my luggage, went to this one taxi guy was sitting, who was about 200 meter, parked in part darkness. Okay, and 7 o'clock was anyway dark. So I climbed into that. I asked him, "Chaloge airport?" He said, and then I got into the back seat. And then I looked up at him. I said, "What have I got myself into? I'm 5'6", 5'7" maybe. I mean, when I want to kind of laud myself, I kind of increase my height. Okay, so I said 5'6", 5'7", and then the guy looked like 6'3" or something, sitting in the front. He kind of looked at whether he carrying 3/4 of the driver's seat, yeah, that the front side. And then I said, "What is he going to do? He's going to take me somewhere, kill me, and take whatever little I have left. Oh my God, what have I got into? Why do I have to reach Goa? Life will not stop because I don't reach Goa. What have I done to myself?" And then he said, "Chale!" I said, so, and then I did something stuck in me, and I just tapped him. He said, "Kya?" He didn't turn. He said, "Kya?" I said, "मुझे बहुत डर लग रहा है." I just uttered out, "मुझे बहुत डर लग रहा है." And then he turned back. He said, "मुझे भी बहुत डर लग रहा है." And then he told me the story that if but for his daughter who is very sick, and he wants to take 1 or 2 sawaris so that he can buy them medicine, came in. So we were all fellow travelers. आप जब तक नहीं कहोगे मुझे डर लग रहा है, तब तक वो दूसरा साइड से नहीं आएगा कि मुझे भी डर लग रहा है. And when we share that, we become sahayatri. Till that time, we are enemies. Without knowing we could be friends. Without knowing we have nothing against each other. And I think this is another story in lesson, one of communication, one of showing vulnerability. And this vulnerability showing makes you a better leader than those who have no vulnerabilities. And I always say I am the weakest link. It is you as a team, it is you as all of you who makes it, who makes me strong, who makes what I am. Okay, so that's the other thing. The other thing that you will learn, and the reason why I landed up in Seva, okay, will come. Seva is Self-Employed Women's Association, a 2.5 million rural poor women's members group, where I am trying to help in terms of employment, entrepreneurship, and education. So this is what we were all going to Jabalpur. Okay, we never seen any cold country. So our sweaters used to have holes like that. You remember that sweaters? I was wearing that and going to Jabalpur in December. Okay, so we all started from thing, and as we came towards Ratlam from south, till we came on Hyderabad, was a par hua, not Hyderabad per se. So Andhra Pradesh vagera par hua, it was warm, and as we came towards Ratlam, it was going to be 0 degree. And we were wearing all that sweaters, right? So this Jawan is seeing that all 4 of us, children, were like shivering. Then he asked my parents, कुछ है क्या, कंबल उम्बल है क्या? So she took out this, and हमारे साउथ में होता है ना वो निकाल के दिया, so चादर ओढ़ लिया. So how much will it survive? It survived for 5-10 minutes, and again we are shivering. So this guy's Jawan who's sitting, and he said, "కొంచెం కూడా మూడే இல்லையா?" So basically he was a Tamilian, he knew we were Tamilian. So he said, आपको थोड़ा भी दिमाग नहीं है? My parents को. Then he opened, and for his house he has 2 Kambals, मतलब as Jawan child he had 2 Kambals, he gave that. So we survived that journey to that room. And then we landed up there. And the next was that by that time he had become a little friendly. After all, we were holding on to each other and we had to give it back for him to okay, so we became friendly and we landed and we got in. And then he asked my dad, where will you stay? My dad said, भाई पोस्ट एंड टेलीग्राफ है, ये कोई मतलब है तो नहीं है कि मतलब वो लोग गेस्ट हाउस रेडी रख के तैयार खड़े हूँ. So I'll go, I'll find a small place to, pile on, then search for some house, yeah, to get in. So he's saying, 4 बच्चों के साथ इस ठंड में. And then he said, अच्छा चलो मेरे साथ. Then he took us to his bachelor quarters and he made us stay there. And my mother cooked food and he also had South Indian food, of course, that was what benefit, he small thing he got. And then we stayed in his house for 9 months. So we evicted him out of the house. He found his friend to go and stay with, and we all stayed in his house for 9 months. Yeah, of course. Big heart, yeah. So, and I think that was the message that I think in a sense we come. So we will get many such Selvarajans in our life. We will always get. Each one of you will tell me stories about your own Selvaraj in your life. Okay, and what also happened is that okay, so I probably okay. So we also had an AO uncle, right? So we go. There are no tuitions you can learn in the salary that we all get in the old times. So there is no question of if you are weak on something or anything. So we get into this barter system. People will come, South Indian food chahiye. Instead, they will teach us something or the other subjects there, including cricket. Yeah, okay. So the person who taught me top spin, we call him the AO uncle, but he also taught me maths. And when I got 144 marks out of 115 in 10th, then I always remember, AO uncle nahi hote to main kabhi padhai mein theek nahi hota. So he actually learned me. So with that better said. But what stands out about leadership is that if you go back and say once you made it, once I earned my first 10 lakhs and once I earned my first 50 lakhs, I could go and give him some money back. I could give him a best gift that I can find. Surely it will make my mind a little bit less guilty. But will it actually do any good? What he has done is immeasurable in terms of help. Yeah, what that person did is immeasurable in terms of that time. Yeah, and now how do I repay? And I call it as leadership, give it forward, don't give it back. Giving it back gives you nothing. It belittles the person who gave and it belittles you, because you are trying to somehow says, अभी मैंने गिफ्ट उसको दे दिया, मेरा हिसाब किताब बराबर. कभी नहीं बराबर होने वाला. AO uncle will always be my mentor. Yeah, is the guru whom I cannot give any money and satisfy. Similarly, Jabalpur Jawan, Selvaraj. But I can do some work similarly for Seva, educate some people, others, and then I am giving it forward. I think leadership is about the ability of organization to promote giving it forward. And if you do that, you will become a leader who not only will feel good about himself, but the entire set of people will feel good about you. Because this portion will elevate you from being a manager to a leader. So remember this. The last couple of things that I want to talk about is when I came to being VP and above level, and especially when I was CIO, CFO, group CFO and CEO, all these roles when I played, I always asked for one person in my first line. My EA was always a very young person whom I recruited from either school, college or whatever, and a couple of years experience. He has to work with me because I said I cannot understand what Gen X and I cannot as a Gen X understand what the Gen Z or new people think. I also don't understand how technology can be fundamentally different. I was a CIO, but I used to struggle to do Excel sheets. Okay, so and it is so bad to tell people, right, that you don't know how to fix a computer if you are a CIO. But if you were to show that kind of vulnerability and reverse mentoring happens, you suddenly seem to know much more than what you are doing. So I always used to give a KRA to that person that you please reverse mentor me, and if you have given me 2-3 talk or lessons, I call it talk, you said don't do this. This is not the right way. You don't understand people. You don't understand preferences. And then they give and then say, how do I understand them better? How can I communicate with the youngsters better? Okay. So and one of them told me, don't tell them, tell them. So I said, they don't understand what the difference between the two tell means. So and then she said, don't go and give them sermons, just send a message. Works better. So, so the medium has to change to talking to the relevant people, etc. So there's so many good things that they've taught me. So Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, but the Guru is not in this new world. Only those who are elderly, those who are more experienced. It can come from the next generation and often does. And you accept that from your children, but in office you don't accept it. I suggest make in office also people of your children's age come and teach you. You and the organization will be a better place for it. Okay? All right. So just leave with this one. Life does not pass through phases as a train passes through station. It has the unique privilege of always moving, yet never leaving anything behind. So I can read each of these scenes as if it's happened yesterday, but I still look forward to the tomorrow. Okay, so that's what I know. And when you go today from here, each one of you build your house of excellence. Tell us what is important to you. मेरे घर का सीधा सा इतना पता है, मेरे घर के आगे मोहब्बत लिखा है, न दस्तक ज़रूरी न आवाज़ देना. So if you tell what is your house of excellence, people will know what you for. People, you will be able to tell me what I have to improve in order to do. So this is an house of excellence for a function, which is FNA. But each one of you can draw your own house of excellence. Okay, and then you also do add one more thing. Yeah, add what does that mean with a one-liner. Okay, for example, if I have to say what is the thing that I give, when I partner with businesses, and then I say counsel without fear and assist without restraint. What it means is, when you are not made the decision, I will tell you what you are doing is wrong. I will have the courage to tell you, I will counsel you without fear. As a CFO, I am supposed to do that. But once you made the decision, I will assist without restraint. Okay? So then it means it gives you the way you will behave on this. Each one of you can use it for your function, for your organization, but you can also use it at individual level. So I have my house of excellence even today. I am not going to show it to you. Okay? Maybe another time. Okay? But it's very important that if you can make this house of excellence, you will, I always told you, mental creation before physical creation. This is your mental creation which you are putting on a piece of paper. And then you say, this is what matters to me, and then you will do those and do better. Yeah? Okay? What can be measured can be improved, what can be improved can be excelled, what can be excelled can become world class. This is the journey that you can all take, and it can start with your house of excellence. That are my people in my team, which are heroes, and these are my heroes now. Okay? So this is the first part of it. Now I have to change that presentation, so you can help me with that. Don't put up the presentation, I have to tell you which slide to put it up. So if you want to have a 2020 vision, if you want to have 2020 mechanical number, which basically means a balanced, harmonized life, you just focus on 5 letter words, 5 of them. Yeah, it's called yield, climb, unmix, fable and prime. And this works for both organization and individual. Okay. Let me quickly tell you what it means. Yield is always think about what am I getting out of it, what is that I need to improve. Okay. And this means for the organization it is focusing, ruthless focus on ROE, ROC. For individual it is ruthless focus on ROE, ROC. Yeah, whether individual or this. And this is made up of small 4 slogans. Less input, input later, more output, output sooner. Very simple. Don't worry about all this, what you have to do. All you have to do is less input, input later, more output, output sooner. Okay. आज का खर्चा कल, वो कहते हैं ना काल करे सो आज कर, वो उसका उल्टा, आज खर्चा करे वो कल करे. So it'll kind of do that. Okay. The second one is, if you stay in one place you will never. So always keep thinking about what climb that you can. Invest in your future. So when I was 55, I said I have to do a doctorate because I will be investing in my future. Yeah, you have to learn the skills of various things you do. So you say climb, relentless scaling up. So always think about what is the next padav for you. And this can be in any sphere, it doesn't need to be in the same. ऐसा नहीं है कि मैनेजर के बाद सीनियर मैनेजर ही बनना है. It may not be in office itself, it may be somewhere else, but climb you must. And like in this shows na, that the startups of in your life will require some investment. You will have to put money there. Yeah, now when I do PhD, I will have to pay for fees, etc. I was quite unhappy about it. But I had to pay all that in order to get that. Okay, I had to save something from what I am getting in order to do, and work on some evolving. Evolving is things like I am consulting somebody, startup is for me evolving. It's a startup for them, for me it's evolving. I am getting a small retainer, I am getting shares. If they do well, I will do well. Otherwise, it is all in the well. Yeah. So we'll kind of but for me it's evolving. So this is the second. Third is unmix. Simplify your world. Complex mix को बंद करो. मतलब unmix करो. We complicated our life a lot. अरे ये करना है, इधर भागना है. There is a lady who's one of the best physiotherapists I know. One of the best physiotherapists I know. So she's so unhappy. अरे बाबा मैं 2 ही लाख कमाती हूँ महीने का. And in order to improve, I have to do, instead of 10 visits a day, I have to do 13. I said, why? You're complicating your world. You're compromising on life, work-life balance or life-life balance. Okay? So please reduce complexity in your life. And sometimes you have to ask, what is the purpose? And then you're saying, if it is an organization, reduce complexity. If it's an individual, reduce complexity. And mix. Fourth is fable. Never tire of telling good stories from your life. Yeah. The walk to future, our walk to future is lighted up by the fables of the past. What I told you about leadership all was fables of the past to light the walk of our future of leadership. Okay? So develop good narratives, tell stories. Okay? And अगर कोई कहता है आपको क्यों स्टोरी सुना रहे हो, बोले यही तो मकसद है, स्टोरी ही सुनाना है, बट इस तरीके से सुनाना है कि मुझे भी अच्छा लगे और आपको भी अच्छा लगे. So that's the only thing that I'm learning as we go towards this. So develop good stories and good narratives, and that's fable. Okay, and the last one is prime. All this you can do and be a failure unless you get good governance in personal life as well as our organization. Without good governance, there is no future. So be a good citizen, be a good individual, have good governance. Let people say, शांति से मैं जब बात करता हूँ बहुत शांति मिलती है. So I'm very very at peace. I don't have to have motives which I'm dealing with shanti. So that's the kind of everything that you can talk about. Compliance at the rule book. I'll comply with everything as a citizen of India, as a whatever organization I'm working for, whatever family in it, and governance as gospel. When people talk about good, then they'll say, इसके पास जाओ solution मिलेगा. Yeah, okay. So गलत नहीं बताएंगे. So all those stuff of things. Those are the 5. to recapitulate, if you want this kind of 2020 mental this or 2020 vision: yield, climb, unmix, fable and prime. These were the 5 words I put in as a 40-year work experience, what it has taught me. When Mahindra asked me to pen down what did I have to offer, I had only these 5 things to offer them as a matter of thing. Okay. Now the last 5 minutes is bullet in terms of some of the things I may have said or not said. So I will use that. My journey started, there are 3 lings in Hindi, right? Striling, okay, but I learned that there are 3 things in lings in this, which is striling, pulling and selling. Okay, so that's what I started with. But as I went through life, I realized that life is all about striling, pulling and feeling. So my journey of leadership has been a journey from striling, pulling and selling. I always used to sell when I started my career, to striling, pulling and feeling, understanding and empathizing with people around you. So that's the journey that I did. So all of you, I ask you to go towards that journey faster so that you can spend more time on that. Second is, remember, practice makes a man perfect. Sorry, I said I will be general now. Practice makes a person perfect. Imperfect practice makes a person perfectly imperfect. Okay, so when you are doing practice, remember that there was this world-class player who got everything right. That lady got everything right, and every newspaper said she will be world number 1. She made one mistake. Her backhand, she practiced imperfectly, imperfect practice, and then it had gone in such a way that it was always become her weak point. And she would always try to run extra towards the side to hit it with the forehand, so that she doesn't have to use backhand, but that cost her great. So practice make you perfect, but please realize that an imperfect practice will make you perfectly imperfect. Okay, so that's it. There is no substitute to perseverance. Everyone says everything is about strategy and execution. I beg to differ. It is strategy plus execution plus perseverance. जैसे वो पेड़ को थोड़ा पानी डालते रहना होता है, बाहर दिखता ही नहीं कुछ, मतलब जब आप बीज बोते हो तो इट इज नॉट विजिबल, बट आप पानी देते रहते हो, परसीव करते हो कि 10 दिन बाद, 15 दिन बाद, या महीने बाद, या 6 महीने बाद वो आएगा. So give, once you know it takes, everything takes time. So without perseverance, there will be no. There is no substitute to passion. There is no substitute to perseverance or hard work. There is no substitute to passion, and there is no substitute to purpose. Every person walks into your office if there is a purpose for the organization. Otherwise, they will run away from you. So the 3 P's I want you to remember is perseverance, passion and purpose. If you, whatever you build, if you keep these 3 words in that, what you build, passion, perseverance and purpose, you will always find that you are like a magnet attracting people around you. Okay, I used to call my office colleagues as family group. Okay, the reason was I'm spending 14-16 hours in office one way or the other, and I spend so much less time at home. So are they not like family? And if you treat it like them, then work-life balance will become a little more simpler. Okay, but then who was that who said 60 hours work week hona chahiye? Narayan Murthy. You will all not hate him. You will not hate him so much, yeah, because then you know that initially you have nothing more to offer than hard work and perseverance. You offer perseverance then becomes a habit, and then becomes to balance your life. So remember to start with perseverance. Yeah, there is one thing which is called PBT plus PPM is equal to business movement. The future is all going to be about business movement and new business models. What is business movement? When Amazon started with as a bookstore and realized that somebody wants finance, so that's a business movement. They wanted insurance, that's a business movement. They want data centers, that's a business movement. And this all happens because PBT plus PPM comes together. What is PBT? Not profit before tax, but people business things. When people business things come with PPM, which is people process machines, okay, then what you have is called business movement. So always look out for business movements. Okay. The next is the world is going to change because of ice. Okay. Climate change C and experiential commerce E will mean that every company's business model is going to change because of climate change or experiential commerce. And only innovative companies or individuals will survive in this case. So ICE is only innovative companies will survive on the face of climate change and experiential commerce. And this is nice because it's a new normal. Okay, and therefore if I ever write a book now, it will not be called Build to Last. It will be called Build to Adapt or Build to Change. Okay, so remember that adapting is very important. Learning should never end. Yeah, P plus PC is important. So learn, unlearn, relearn. And if you can take an example from me, this learning is an important one because it helps you adapt to all changes that occur. So that's this one. In our life 70-30 should become 30-70. What it means is today what you are doing 70% of the time, machine learning, AI and others should replace it and make it 30%, so that you have 70% for future actions. So list out your activities and try to move them away. Okay. The next is that whenever this is आँख आसमान पर हो किंतु पाँव धरती पर टिके हो. Anything that you do, remember this, that is my eyes on the horizon or on the sky, but my foot is firmly bent. But because the poem goes to say, नहीं तो रास्ता का एक कांटा पाँव का दिल चीर देता, रक्त की दो बूंद गिरती, एक दुनिया डूब जाती. So if you don't want your world to crash, आँख आसमान पर हो किंतु पाँव धरती पर टिके हो. Okay. The next turn is, this is how you start in life is what you should be. आया हूँ बड़ी दूर से, खाता हूँ करेला, मूँछों पे ताव दे के लड़ता हूँ अकेला. Okay. So you come alone. So you come individually, each one of you. Yeah, and Karela can be both for veg and non-veg, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, so you don't have to worry about your gender base. Are vegetarian or non-vegetarian. So you eat that. So when you do that fight, you will find that slowly you will become proficient. And then what will happen is, मैं चला तो अकेला ही था. मैं अकेला ही चला था, पर लोग मिलते गए, कारवां बनता गया. हाँ, और हम सफ़र अब पूरा कारवां बन चुका है. The other 2 or 3 things I can say, but I will stop here, and probably at the end, if I have 2 minutes, I will talk about the other ones. So can I take a pause here and then give the next 25 minutes or so?
Bombay Chamber could not have chosen a better day. Today is the International Dream Day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Actually, he chose. We gave him option.
Okay. So comments, questions, this? Yeah.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, good evening.
So I am Nitin Jain from Agama Law, and I was fortunate to work under your leadership on various M&A projects. So one question which really occurs to me, thank you for such an enlightened presentation, and I have walked through with you on some of those journeys, international global acquisitions. So whether it is an international exit or whether it is at a US level with Navistar or whether it is an entry with the Spanish company on Project Moon, what is one thing as a leader you would share your experience when there are cross-border cultures and cross-border intricacies where the integration is something on top of the key priorities for the organizations to marry, and your experience as a leader, that how do you foresee the learnings what one leader should contain?
Okay. So sorry, just to get the question right. So what is it one that when we do international transaction?
So sir, as a cultural integration, as a global leader,
yeah,
what is one quality one should possess?
Qualities a leader should have, or what should we think about as an organization? Yeah. This is a very important question. Please, if you don't mind, please sit. and I have indeed worked with him. My last role was mobility services sector, and Nitin helped me a lot, and he does even today. Yeah, whenever I am a legal thing, I throw it at him. He does it pro bono. He never asks me for money. So just so that we know. So I hope I can do the same one day to Nitin when he has a problem. So, and that's how I do it. As Ashit also sometimes calls me on something, I said, let's get on a call. I'll tell you. We'll do the same. I've done the same with Ashish the other way around. Yeah. But just coming back to this question, it's a very, very, very important question. First is for a moment when we go abroad and try to acquire, what is that which occurs to us that happens, okay? Is that we are representing India as we go abroad, okay? So that's number one. So not only will we determine how we do, we will determine how India does or how India is perceived, how our company is perceived when we go abroad, okay? So just to build that story of that 500 to 550,000, हमको China जाना था. We have never been to China. We have not been acquired any company. So what we did is we huddled and said, what should we do? Then we said that there are 3 or 4 things we will do, or 5 things we will do. One is our embassy will pull in so that they can tell us what it can do, what it cannot do. Second is we will do a list of do's and don'ts, what we will stand for as India, as people, and what will we not stand up for. And one of the big things we do is in Hindi we always try to belittle the other person. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't want to generalize. At least our group used to. It's a standard practice key, and if you don't think he knows the language, we just yeah. So it's our intent. And when you go abroad, there are many people who understand. So one of the things we said is we will assume everyone understands our language from A to Z, and therefore we will say things and do things which we would like to hear back, or which we are okay even if somebody else heard. Yeah, we don't want to do that slander or slighting kind of thing that which gives a lot of pleasure to us, but is not so nice about other people. Third is we understand their food habits and try to kind of do. We appreciate the local custom. For example, that if you gave a clock as a gift to a Chinese, you will say, "Aapka samay aa gaya hai." So they are very negative about it. They will think of you as an enemy, not as a friend. So cultural aspects of all these kinds become so very important. So we learnt all this and actually learnt language. When we said we were taught language, we all learned 10-20%, but the attempt was good enough for them to appreciate that we come with lot of at least jigyasa to learn, not this one. So we did all that from a culture, but the biggest thing I learned when I did international organization is dono tarah se pyas hai. Both the organization which are coming together, they have got a lot of needs and they got a lot of wants. When I acquired the first China company, tractor company, they knew that they had no other place to go if they were not acquired by some other company. Of course they would like a US company to acquire them. Yeah, that was that. They had a thing, kya hai, Megwa or Chungwa, either US or Chinese. Indians nahi. So we had to overcome that as culture. So Nitin, all I will say is that acquisition, culture is all the biggest competitive advantage in an acquisition, is a biggest success parameter, and what you would know is to integrate. Second thing about leadership is to identify what is important to the acquiring organization. And I will give you some example. When we acquired Punjab Tractors, it was so easy to merge it into Mahindra the next day, have only one brand which is called Mahindra, all tractor will sell by it. But we realized what was important to Punjab Tractors is Swaraj. Indianness, matlab maine ek banaya, mitti ka banao mera shik. So we never ever killed Swaraj. we gave them, today also there are 2 brands in Mahindra, and that's the only instance, and they tell you in business books that it is wrong. But for us it was right. It helped us the ROC term. Second thing is, when we went to China, we recognized that the leader there may have been a failure in their eyes, but in the eyes of the employee he was a leader. So we made him chairman emeritus. Okay, we didn't want to make because the government was not in favor. Okay, so it's about, madam, we have some time, na? Yes. So it's not a problem. Okay, yeah. No, we have 20 minutes. Okay, I think I'll bargain with her. Okay, so but it is important. So therefore, we acquired there and did that. Satyam we acquired. So Satyam was an organization which was, Brutus. In that case, the Brutus happened to be one of their own. Sir, हमारी शर्म से झुकी हुई आंखें ऊपर कर दो. Let us walk once again with pride. That was what, sir, we will do. We will give our jaan de denge. We will give our life. But help us get this. So that's what we did. Yeah. So each, therefore, if you were to understand the cultural needs of the people, and acquisition is not about conquer. So the term itself is wrong. So we have to work extra hard that it's a partnership. ये संगम है. ये दिलों का मिलन भी है, as much as it is a milan of operations and so on. Yeah. I used to have a slogan for it called first health drivers, then growth drivers. हमको M&A में बाद में growth drivers चाहिए, पहले health drivers चाहिए. So that 125 acquisition that I did, I can claim a majority were huge success, because we spent much time on this. Because Keshub Mahindra, our chairman, and then chairman emeritus, for a long time, when I came back from Punjab Tractors acquisition, I said, sir, मैंने कर लिया M&A. अच्छा, तुम तो बड़े खुशी फील कर रहे हो, तो what do people of Punjab Tractor feel? Are they feeling elated? So, and I think it's a very important dimension of doing that. So, leadership is about recognizing this, is about putting agenda. इसको बंद कर दो, ये different है, it will take somewhere else. So, it is putting the right agenda and the culture at the center stage. So and its success factor. By the way, I am writing a book on M&A, which will come in the next month or so. Yeah. So you may want to buy that also. Okay.
Thank you very much, sir, once again.
Thank you. Anything else? So he is looking for you.
I'm Manish here. Sir, what was the most challenging job at Mahindra and Mahindra? Which department? And second question, didn't you feel odd or something like moving you from HR to finance to IT? I mean, they would have taken someone else and brought them up. And what was your thought process at that time and your commitment to the company?
Yeah. Okay. So basically, they say that people change jobs every 3 or 4 years, right? And the reason is that after some time they feel quite jaded in this. Yeah. Okay. There is Peter when the initial phases, and repeater after some time. So neither for the organization nor for you it is rich. So if you remain in the same bit, I would have jaded and I would not have completed. So how do I manage to get newness in the same organization? So look for new challenges, and that I put my hand up for everything, right? And whenever an opportunity arises, I took it. Just give you strategy, start kiya with transformation, because that I came in and Bharat Doshi asked me, "Arey finance nahi hai, you are a finance guy. You don't even have finance in your role. Are you feeling comfortable coming?" I said, "Sir, आप कहाँ जाओगे? मैं भी यहाँ हूँ, तो आप भी यहीं हैं, तो आप दोगे ही मेरे को finance job." So one is confidence, but more importantly, I am also saying that's the only chance I have to work on something new, right? And as you learn to something new, what empathy it gives about that function. So when I became a group CFO, there will be many people who will come and say, "Sir, business hai ye," and then they will look at me. So मैंने भी चला है, so no, you don't have to say anything. मैंने भी business चला है successfully, right? So there's nothing more better than to have that diverse kind of thing. So it was not that they ever forced me into anything. So they offered, but I chose. Most of the jobs, HR I chose. Okay, then they gave me finance because that was my competency. Then I international operations का strategy बनाया, तो they gave me offered international operations. I could have very well said I don't want, but I said if you are trusting me, then I will do it, and then I became CFO, CEO. Okay, I had five companies across the world. One of them which is $1 billion, and the others all put together another billion. And I was the boss of those companies, so it was great. After my CFO of 5 years, I went and told Anand कि sir expiry date आ रहा है, कुछ और करिए. So then he gave me mobility services sector, which is the all new business, including Mahindra Finance. I was the chairman, Mahindra Logistics. I was the chairman. I was the chairman for a company called Porter, which is latest unicorn this time, and so on. So I these all were part of it. So yeah, याद आई आधी रात को कल रात की तौबा, दिल पूछता है झूम के किस बात की तौबा. Thank you. हाँ जी. So I think it's what motivates me is the question, and I think it's a very interesting question, and often I've wondered about it. I think challenges motivate me firstly. Second is people motivate me. If I have, there are some people who are saying कि sir ये करते, so then that's people motivate me. And third is purpose motivates me hell of a lot. If I have something I can do. So I did Nanikali, and I realized education for girls was very important. But then I realized, Seva does education, entrepreneurship, employment, in fact the entire empowerment angle. So I said, oh my God, can I do something? So I went to Rimaben and said, can you give me a job please after retirement? Pro bono, but give me a job. I am really interested in it. So I keep pestering her every 2 months. So those three things motivate me. Does it make sense?
Yeah. Purpose, I think, is the big thing.
Yeah.
That drives.
Purpose without purpose, correct. And I do draw every 3 years my house of excellence. So that's it. Yeah. Actually the house of excellence is a very 1 minute thing. Initially I went to Harvard and they taught me this about North Star and about how to write. They say write your purpose and something, and I tried it, and it was very difficult to define. But when I tried my house of excellence, because we are doing nuts and bolts, then automatically it allows you to put कि मेरे को ये important है, मेरे को ये important है, मेरे को ये important है, and then you put it together. And I said, oh ये सब करूँगा तो इसका मतलब ये बनता है. So you can put that entire house of excellence, and then it gives you that purpose, that everything very, very clearly. So I would urge you to do, and if any of you put it, so I had kind of put in one of the presentation last, I don't think it came to thank you, but otherwise my Gmail ID was there, but I can leave some cards here on the table, so that you cannot claim that I didn't put my cards on the table. Okay, so I can leave it, and then you can mail me, any of you, if you have difficulty in making it, I'll be very happy to help you. Okay, thank you, but that question is very relevant.
Any questions?
Yeah, just give a minute, because for recording, I think for
so this is Bhairavi from Hexaware Technologies. So you just said that people motivates me, but sometimes there are situations when some people are not the way we want. So how you handle this situation as a leader?
Yeah, so it's very, very important, and many times no team ever comes with people who are not doing the things you want to do, right? And that's what I gave you, that skeptic and cynic. So you have to kind of assess them first. Are they skeptics? Are they cynic? Yeah. So if you are cynic, for a minute park it. Yeah. But if assume they are skeptics, first work with them as if they are skeptics. Because those, when you assume they are skeptics, you are giving them the benefit of doubt. Second, communicate with them what you want. Yeah. Let them communicate with you what they want or what they are expecting as a boss from you. I told you the premise is there is never a bad subordinate, only a bad boss. Yeah. So you second, after communication, put trust in them. Give them the challenge that today you don't let go. they never catch because you never let go. But if you say, मेरे पास है ही नहीं गेंद, आप ही के पास है गेंद, then immediately the third one is one of letting go and asking them, that trusting them. He said, I can do, you can do it. You remember that story I told you where I called the 27 G's and must improve. Guys, I said, I don't care about what you did till yesterday. And I'm going to see you exception surpassed is what I want. And I'll back you till kingdom comes. So if you do this, just see whether some things change. If it don't change and you deny them as cynics, then you deal with them as such. But मेरा तजुर्बा ये कहता है कि it shouldn't happen that way. It should happen that they start. And when they give feedback, listen to it. Most of the time what happens is, वो कहते हैं हमारी मांगें पूरी करो, and आप कहते हैं हमारी पूरी की मांग करो. This is what is the leadership dilemma. They are always saying हमारी मांगें पूरी करो, आप कहते हैं हमारी प्रोडक्ट, हमने जो बोला है वो सही है, हमारी पूरी की मांग करो. सर मैंने जो डिसीजन दिया उसको फॉलो करो. But when it comes to your boss, you want them to listen to you, you want them to accept your ideas. And many of you would say that मेरे बॉस के पास बहुत सारे अच्छे आइडिया है, बट यही बस एक बुरी है, राइट? सो कैन यू अंडरस्टैंड फॉर यू एज अ बॉस, बहुत सारी अच्छी है, यही एक बुरी, क्या है वो? एंड देन ट्राई टू इम्प्रूव.
Thank you so much.
I don't have any question per se, but I really wanted to thank you for a fantastic session. I think this is my first session with Bombay Chambers, and every single thing that you spoke about, I could genuinely relate to. I have been working with an organization for the last 10 years, and we have been following very similar practices and the philosophy, and it just makes me feel really happy about. And I could not just assess that what we are doing is right, but there's so much more that we can do, and your own journey is absolutely an inspiration, I think, for me, and I'm sure for all of us. So thank you for complete 2 hours of enlightenment. Thank you so much.
So when it comes to, when it comes to this, so I'm quite fond of speaking in public, okay, so I do it, I'll do many different things. What is the learning from Dashavtar? Yeah, I done a series of topics, CIO, how technology impacts you, etc. So I keep doing it, so I have to keep them motivated. So one is the हाथों में आँखों में नमी है, तालियों में कमी कभी नहीं होना चाहिए. दूसरा है, हम आपके कर कमलों को कष्ट कीजिए और इस सन्नाटे को नष्ट कीजिए. ओके, थैंक यू.
As a token of our appreciation, I would like to invite Mr. Sandeep Khosla to present a memento to Dr. V S Parthasarathy. This memento symbolizes our gratitude to his valuable insights and contributions to the thought leadership. Again, our request to Sandeep Khosla, Director General Bombay Forum, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Shruti. So, Partha, thanks a lot for coming here. I think everyone here would join me in appreciating the kind of knowledge you gave us right from your initial Modi Xerox days right up to what you're doing with Seva. I think it's such a learning journey for everyone, and irrespective of age. There are young people here, there are people who've been working for a long time, there are entrepreneurs here, but I think everyone has some learning to do. And I don't think we could have asked for a better Wednesday afternoon session. So thanks a lot, and thank you everyone for coming here to our Young Bombay Forum another leadership series, and I'm happy that we have another, actually somebody's taken literally today and a young person has come, so hopefully that young person will join us, and from as they say, and I repeat it, Young Forum is like the Youth Congress. Everyone is over 50. So for a change, we have a youngster coming in here. So we do a lot of such programs. For most of you all know us as to the different kind of programs which we keep on doing. But if you're not a member, please register, become a member of the chamber, and like this, there are different knowledge sessions which we keep on conducting. On 8th, we have now 2 big sessions coming up at St. Regis. One is on SME REITs, a very, very important segment which the SEBI is promoting, and the other one is on mutual funds, where right from one of our past presidents, Nilesh Shah, to the current MP President Navneet Munot of HSBC mutual funds are all going to be present. So I invite you all, register and join us. And so thank you for coming, and please join us for some snacks. And Partha's there, so in case you have another question or some questions for him, you could keep on asking. Thank you once again.